I like the fact they've gone back to black. I like the fact they've gone back to black because it feels like, again, they're going back to that kind of rich energy era, but revitalized. It's kind of like black livery that they're moving to. It does feel like a moving back to when they were black. Obviously, there was all the positivity with Haas finishing 5th in the Constructors in 2018. It was a black car. But I don't know. I feel like most people, when they think of a black Haas, think of that rich energy era. Think of the rich energy team that just dragged them down to the ground. Absolutely ruined Haas for what felt like forever. And then Haas have kind of had to completely rebuild from the ground up, right? We thought 2020 was going to be the end of Haas. And then they've kind of bounced back. They've gone back to white. They've gone through the Mazepin era. They've then replaced it, Mazepin. They've come in. They've revitalized themselves. They're into this brand new era where Haas are really positive again. People are really looking forward to what Haas can do in the future. And now they've gone back to black as like yeah, we're back. This is us. We can go back to black and we're just going to absolutely own it now. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I feel like it's a very, very solid livery for what they've got. And I feel like there are improvements that could be made. There's little things that they could have changed just to make it stand out that little bit more. But I do really like it. 7 out of 10. What more can you say about Red Bull, really? It's the same. It's literally exactly the same. The yellow nose cone with the Red Bull logos running into it. The same kind of purpley blue. No one really knows what color it is. Then the red, like, details around it. Red Bull on the front wing. Red Bull on the back wing. Red Bull everywhere. It's just kind of a bit samey, right? We've seen it before. It's been there, done that. You can tell me that this is the 2012 Red Bull car. And I'd be like, yeah, probably, maybe, could be. The only thing that might rectify Red Bull over the course of the season is the fact that they are running a competition where fans are going to be able to design what the car looks like, or at least a band of what the car looks like. I think it's the 3 American Grand Prix where they're going to have fan designs on the side of the car. Be interesting to see which designs they choose. But I do really like the fact that they've given that opportunity for fans to show themselves and express themselves onto the car. I think that's something that more teams should offer, considering it does seem like teams can just kind of change the livery up willy-nilly. It's not something that is like dead set on the car. It seems like it's fairly easy to change the livery on a car throughout a season. And therefore, I feel like more Formula One teams should do this, where fans get to kind of have an impact on the car that they're watching. I feel like the Williams livery always is pretty good. I feel like the Williams color scheme is solid, right? They have the different blues, the different colors of blues that integrate with each other. The lighter blue. I thought they'd have a bit more Gulf integration, although the Gulf stuff was only announced, like the day of the launch of the car. So maybe we'll see a bit more of a Gulf integration as a kind of a one-off special livery at some point over the course of the season to maybe be a bit more punchy than it being just like every single race the Gulf livery is integrated. I think everybody, though, is all about this Duracell. It's just perfect. It just works in every single way imaginable, right? It just looks like it's like a booster or something. It looks like Alex Albon's going to like reach behind, bop the Duracell, and the car's just going to like spin up and speed off. You know what I mean? It just looks very well integrated. And I like the little bit of red in there as well. I do like this livery. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I really love the Alfa Romeo car. I think Alfa Romeo, just whoever is on liveries at Alfa Romeo, is clearly Italian because he nails it. He nails it every single year. I thought the red and the white worked so incredibly well last time. And then you've got now the red and the black integrated into each other. And again, it was so good. And also, my favorite thing about all of the Alfa Romeo cars is the Italian flag along the rear wing. I am gutted that Alfa Romeo are going to be gone next season just because we're going to miss out on this Italian flag at the back of the Formula One car. I think it's just such a good idea, and it's such a cool idea to integrate the Italian flag in this way. Still have the Alfa Romeo branding in there, but just have that Italian flag too. For me, the Alfa Romeo is the best of the bunch. 10 out of 10. It's by far and away the best livery. Has to be the best livery for me. AlphaTauri, what on earth have they done here? AlphaTauri in the shortest car launch you're ever going to see in your life. Like, it was, what, a 4-minute video where the last 10 seconds, actually showed us the Formula One car. And what a horrible Formula One car to show us for 10 seconds. Like, it's absolutely gross. It doesn't look horrendous from this angle. Let me change your mind. From this angle, it looks so ugly. It's so ugly. Like the white nose, the black wing, the black and navy. Black and navy don't incorporate with each other well. They're like two dark colors, but one looks kind of the same as the other. And then the red Orlean sponsorship. I know that Orlean came in late, but there must have been a better way that they could integrate the red. Again, it just looks like they got some Orlean red stickers and just like put them on the car in random places. They're just like, oh my god, we've got to put the Orlean sponsorship on. Rear wing, on the wing mirrors, maybe down here. Perfect. No, it just looks so bad. It looks so bad. I gave it a 2 out of 10. I gave this a 2 out of 10. I think it is ugly. This McLaren car gets a little bit of hate, you know. This McLaren car gets a little bit of hate because we were expecting a bit more orange. And again, lots of teams are trying to save weight this season. Lots of teams are taking a lot of the color off the car. But I feel like the black at least integrates quite well with the orange and the blue. I really like the way they've integrated it. Again, down the side pod, you can see kind of the gills, the louvres that they've cut in, similar to the Ferrari last season. But again, they're kind of hidden away in the black section of the car. And then that just makes the orange papaya stand out a little bit more and the blue stand out a little bit more. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Am I biased? Maybe. But I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Aston Martin have stuck with the same. Aston Martin, when they were like, ooh, we need to design a livery, shall we just copy and paste the one from last year? Yeah, let's just copy and paste the one from last year. It's identical. It's exactly the same. They've done a little bit of a Red Bull here, where there's almost no change whatsoever. I'm interested that they haven't gone down the route of kind of going more black. There is a little bit more black, I guess, than last year. But they've still kind of kept like a heavy green coating. I like the green. The Aston Martin green is a good color. It's a strong color. It's a clear that is Aston Martin color with the kind of little highlighter yellow. If anything, I could do with a little bit more highlighter yellow. I do really like that yellow as well. Obviously, they put the medium compound tire on so that the yellow kind of goes in with it. When it's got red tires on or green tires on or blue tires on, it will look slightly different to this. The white hard compound tires will still look good though. But yeah, the fact that they've kind of kept with it, the fact they've still got quite a lot of paint on there, 6 out of 10 for me. 6 out of 10. Ferrari just always nail it, right? Ferrari went for the whole, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's still red. Now everybody's trying to get their black kind of involved in their livery in some way or another. Ferrari were already there. Ferrari already had the black livery. I also really like the Ferrari logo across the rear wing of the car. Just the fact that it kind of adds to the silhouette almost of this Ferrari car. Also the Ferrari car, the fact it just does look quick. It does look like it's going to be one of those cars that competes for stuff, you know what I mean? Which is a weird thing in Formula One. Like, you can just look at a car sometimes and get kind of a vibe as to whether or not it's going to be good. And it just looks like it's going to be quite good. Only problem I have with it is this like black box around the Siva logo. Because you've got like the Ray-Ban, then Siva, and then Shell. And Ray-Ban and Shell are on like a red background. And they obviously wanted Siva on a black background. But the way they've kind of integrated this in is just a little bit weird. And otherwise, it would have been a 10 out of 10. But I've given it a 9 out of 10. They did have the best launch, though. The best launch of any team by far and away was Ferrari. Mercedes go back to black. Mercedes in black once again. And again, I feel like they're quite lucky in that they've got the option to go to black, because it is definitely a weight-saving thing. They have taken basically all of the paint off of this car. It's going to be nearly all exposed carbon fiber, apart from like the blue highlights, a little bit of silver highlight in there as well. I like the way that it's still got a little hint towards the silver arrows at the back here. I do like the blue. I just feel like if it would have been silver, it might have been better. I know that lots of people like the black Mercedes cars, but for me, Mercedes should be silver. And I know that Toto Wolff talked about it, and the fact that they were called the silver arrows because they stripped the paint off. So the reason that Mercedes was silver back in the day is because they stripped all the paint off, and underneath it was just the exposed aluminium. and the exposed aluminium was obviously silver. So that's where Silver Arrows comes from. And he was like, we're harking back to that. We're removing the paint. But now, obviously, instead of aluminium, all these cars are carbon fiber. So that's why it's black rather than silver, because it's the exposed carbon fiber in the same way that it would have been exposed aluminium. And I like that story. And I do like the fact that Toto Wolff has kind of come up with that as an excuse to take all the paint off the car because they're not going to reach the weight limit. But at the same time, I do really like the car, how it looks. I know it's lots of people's favorite. It's my third favorite, I think. 8 out of 10, I think, is a fair score. So finally then, the Alpine car. Alpine BWT, a little bit of blue and a little bit of pink. You know Alpine, they love to do 2 liveries. So they're going to be pink again for the first couple of races of the season. And I actually think I prefer the pink car to the blue car, which is a shame because we have to kind of judge them on the blue car. And the car kind of looks very similar to last year. If they'd have gone for the pink livery for the entire season, I'd have probably given this maybe an 8 out of 10. But because it is the blue livery, and because it just looks, again, very similar to last year, the integration of a little bit of pink on the side pods, but predominantly blue again. I do like this kind of black patterning they've got towards the back of the car. I think if you're going to integrate black into your car a little bit, then maybe try and add in kind of a little bit of patterning to it. I do also like this kind of pink wheel rim that they've got going on with a little bit of blue. And then it's kind of blue at the front with a little bit of pink. I do like that as well. But yeah, just the fact that it's kind of similar to last year's car, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Running through my total feelings of the 2023 liveries from worst to best, AlphaTauri had the worst livery of the 2023 season. Then Red Bull, Aston Martin and Alpine are fairly close, but I think I slightly prefer the Alpine car. Then I had Haas, Williams, McLaren, Mercedes in third place, Ferrari in second place, and Alfa Romeo have the best livery of the 2023 season for me. But I know that that'll probably be quite controversial and people will have very, very different opinions. So I'd love to know what yours is as well. But that's just mine. That is mine.